welcome you to the Monumental Monetization Masterclass. I'm Dee Collins, the creator of Success Creation Academy, Inc., and I've gathered 8 world-class mentors to provide you with information that can lead to a business transformation for message magnification and mission maximization and monumental monetization. So please stay until the end of the talk for information on how to receive your free gift for attending, as well as how you can gain access to the replay of this event. Put all distractions aside because you are not going to want to miss one morsel of this tasty talk. I abbreviate the name of the summit as MMM because the information in it is good. So if you haven't had breakfast yet, because it's a little bit early, just get ready and just dine on this talk. So our next guest, or our first speaker that's opening up the summit for us, is Fiset. He is the creator and founder of JVology, the perfect mix of people, fun, and profit. He will show you how to launch, fill, and run successful masterminds in your business so that you can escape the time for money trap and easily add $100,000 plus to your business with the art and science of profitable joint ventures. Jay is a best-selling author, student of human nature, an avid outdoorsman, and he is the J in JV. Welcome to the talk, Jay. I thought you would like that.
I do love your naming conventions and that introduction. That was pretty awesome. Thank you, my dear, for having me. I really appreciate
it. Yes. So where are you this morning?
I am in Calgary, and if the way my camera is set up, I cannot show you, but we have probably the first snow that is going to stay for the rest of the winter, and I'm drinking my coffee to keep myself warm.
So I probably shouldn't tell you that it's 80 degrees where I'm at, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure you can come visit anytime.
Sounds good.
But we're going to dive right into the talk because we have some people that are tuned in that are ready to receive this information. We're super excited about what you have to share and about the free gifts that you're going to share with us later on in the talk.
Cool.
We have about 45 minutes, well, actually about 41 minutes left until this talk is over. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. And what I want to ask you the obvious question, because everybody may not know, but what is a joint venture, Jay?
Well, you know, it's interesting that we start there because often I make the assumption that everybody knows, and it's not true. But here's the easiest way to think about it. A joint venture is simply this. It is when 2 or more parties come together to share network, wisdom, resources, and experiences to create something that will be of value to either their clients or their community in some way, shape, or form. It is in its simplest form, it's just collaboration for the good of everyone involved. So think of it as like a win-win-win. And I like to categorize them in the business world really in 3 key areas. And I'll just give chapter titles so that everybody's following. The first of which is just plain old affiliate marketing. And as technology has changed in all of those pieces, I think we've all shared a link for something that we have purchased. We've all sent a recommendation along in some way, shape, or form. That would be affiliate marketing, where you have a link to, let's say, a piece of software that you put in your email signature because you love using, you insert the blanks, whether that's MailChimp, Infusionsoft, whatever it happens to be. So that's affiliate marketing. And if somebody uses that link, you get a reward. They send you some money. They give you a credit for a program or something like that. Right. Super simple, super low relationship required. All you need to do is fill out a form and have a method of payment, and off you go. I mean, it's fine, and I certainly do some of those things, but it's not where our emphasis is at all. The next level is joint ventures, and that's usually when a project has like a beginning, a middle, and end. I know that you have an amazing book coming out. So if, for example, yes, exactly. So if, for example, you were doing a book promotion or a book launch, that would have a beginning, which is you get a bunch of people together that say, hey, I believe in the book and I want to support it. Then there'd be a promotional period. Then there would be a sales period. Then there would be an ending period where, whatever the rewards are divvied up. And those are the joint ventures that when I use the word JV, that's really the, to me, the easiest isn't necessarily the right term. It's the one I like the best because it's mainly based on relationships, and there's good movement, a beginning, middle, and end. You know, you're not getting married to somebody for 100 years. You're not like, it's like, great, we can support a project and carry on. But the third part, which is probably the most profitable over time, is something that we call strategic joint ventures. And that's where we begin to actually embed our product and services in another person's program. So for example, Thinkific, which does course content in those pieces, we have some of our joint venture content embedded in their high-end program. So everyone who's building a high-end program who wants to get more traffic is exposed to me and our content. And that's a steady stream of leads that goes on forever and a day. So that's the big umbrella with 3 chapter titles: affiliate marketing, joint ventures, strategic partnerships. And when I say JVs, I mean all of it.
Yes, absolutely. And JVs are so powerful. Every time I hear the word JV, ever since I think like one of the first times I heard it, I was at a boot camp, and this guy says, "Hey, let's all go down to the jacuzzi and we can have a JV jacuzzi." And I was like, "JV jacuzzi?" I was like, that sounds good to me. But what I was wondering also is, why do you think that most people do not integrate joint ventures into their business model?
Well, you know, that leads to a really big question. And you know, in its simplest format, and I think that we as entrepreneurs, one of our greatest strengths is our independence. I mean, that's why we throw our hat in the ring, right? We're risk takers. We want to do it on our own. But I think sometimes what happens is that, you know, our greatest strength, such as independence, can become our greatest weakness, which is we believe we have to do it on our own. And it, you know, it doesn't count unless it's hard. We got to pay the price in the struggle. And I think that there's a bunch of what I'm going to call old, outdated beliefs about entrepreneurship, about what it means to be successful, about building and creating a team that just sort of has the vast majority of entrepreneurs standing on the edges of joint ventures.
Where you're getting deep on the edges. I'm like, whoa, Jay is going deep.
Well, I really do think that's what it is that they, you know, or they'll stick their toe in the water, but they don't actually build their business model so that it is one of the core drivers. And so I think it's really our own personal stuff. And then on top of that, there's the mechanical version of, you know, I've got to learn a little bit of technology. I've got to build a relationship. I've got to get out from behind my damn computer and go and meet somebody, because most JVs aren't successfully negotiated over a Zoom call or over a you know, Facebook message. They're successfully negotiated, well, in a jacuzzi with a glass of wine, but in person, where you can see someone, where you give you some time to get to know them a little bit better. You can see how they treat other human beings. You can go, well, that person's a good human being. I want to. So I think that those are 2 of the biggest reasons.
Yeah, and you know, I can definitely relate to that, because I've had to force myself into doing some of the things that I need to grow my business, because I'm an extreme, believe it or not, I'm an extreme introvert. So a lot of people don't know that about me, because I'm very social, but I'm what's called an extroverted introvert, if that makes any sense at all. Yep. But what you were saying before about we carry this burden of, you know, we're trying to do everything ourselves. And 2 things came to mind. One is, no man is an island unto himself. And number 2 is, it takes teamwork to make the dream work. And so, you know, joint venturing is, you know, the ultimate teamwork. So I had another question here for you, which is, what is the JV mindset? Can you, you know, tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, I think we even have started on it a little bit with this whole idea of the independence, but I think in Venn diagrams. So if you think of it as a Venn diagram, 3 circles that when they overlap in the center, that overlap is a little bit like the holy grail of JVs. And what I can tell you is that I'm willing to bet that there are people listening here that have had JVs that they attempted that went awry. And that could be the person didn't follow through on what they were going to say. That could be they didn't have the list they said, like something went awry. But here's the truth of the matter, is that in every circumstance where a JV doesn't work, I can trace it back to these 3 elements. In every circumstance that a JV has worked, and by the way, that doesn't mean that it was profitable and everybody made money. It means that whatever transpired, the relationship between the 2 partners or more got closer, like whatever the bumps were got handled, you know, a little bit like, you think of it, this might be a goofy example, but think of it like a marriage. A strong marriage isn't a strong marriage because everything's all rainbows and unicorns and sunshine. Strong marriage is a strong marriage because
It's not.
Contrary to Hollywood's belief.
If we could all have Hollywood love.
For the entire weekend that they have it.
I know. I'm like, I watch movies and I love it. You know, I love like the romantic comedies and stuff like that. But I'm like, how do people fall in love and have like this entire lifelong relationship in like 2 days? I'm like, man, that's
a damn good question. It is a very good question.
So, that's never happened to me in real life, but it has happened to me in joint ventures.
Yes. Okay. So we're on the same page. So even if there's a bump, it brings us together. That would be my definition of success. So here are the 3 circles. The first of which is an abundance mindset. And what that fundamentally means is that we live, breathe this idea of the experience of more than enough in all areas. And why this is so important is that most JVs either don't start or go awry, where someone is dealing with scarcity. And that could be one or both partners. Like, am I going to make enough money? Are they going to pay me? Are they going to pay me on time? Are they going to steal a client? What's going to happen to them afterwards? It's like, well, I shouldn't share my list because I worked really hard on my list and I spent a lot of money getting my list. Like, as soon as that dialogue starts, you should not be joint venturing. The idea here is that together we will be stronger and we will serve the client better. And frankly, that might mean in one circumstance that my partner does a better job for my clients, in which case I wish them the best. That might be that I do a better job for the client sometimes and they wish me the best. But if we're ever in this friction rubbing coming from scarcity piece, which let's be clear about this as entrepreneurs, all of us face scarcity. I mean, that is the roller coaster of being an entrepreneur, of trying to grow a business, of trying to fund a growing business. It isn't, again, always, waterfalls of money. There are times where it's like damn tough. And the difficult part for most of people is, how do I maintain this grounding of abundance when I may have an issue going on in my business? Yeah. So that's one of the biggest issues. So if we can help people stand to this idea of abundance, then we're doing pretty darn good. Then the next circle, so that's the top circle. The next circle off to the right is clients' needs. And this is one of the things that happens, I think, most frequently when people get triggered by scarcity. But I think that it also happens just, in terms of our narrow focus at times, which is, I've got my widget and I want to sell my widget to as many people who want my widget, and I'm going to do everything that I can because my widget is really important and everyone should have my widget. Except the truth of the matter is, most people don't want it. Was that English?
I'm sorry, was that English you just... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. That was really rude. No, but
it's all good.
How did you do that?
That language was unconscious entrepreneurship.
Woodchucker could chuck wood, or whatever, however it goes.
Oh, excuse me, that was funny. But the bottom line is that they try to sell their widget to people who want or need it and don't care. They put their need for sales ahead of the client's need for a solution. And instead of taking 2 steps back and saying, hey, there are clients. Those clients are on a journey they had problems before me. They have problems that drove them to me. And when I sell them my widget, they're going to have new problems of how to use the widget, et cetera. And instead of focusing on the one part that I have, what the big idea here is that if we serve our clients' needs, recognizing what's happening before us, recognizing what's happening with us, and recognizing what happens after us, that changes everything and sets us up to begin to accept leads from the people who create the problem I solve, and us sending leads to people who help them with the problems that we create for our clients. So that client need thing first is epically important. And then the third part, which we did already talk about, is interdependence. Is that we've got to be able to navigate interdependent relationships where you do things a whole lot better than I ever will. I do some things better than what you do. If we could just tell the truth about that and say, great, how do we bring these things together from a space of abundance for our clients' needs, then that sweet spot in between is what we call win-win-win joint ventures. A win for the client, a win for our partner, and a win for us, in that order always. And that's the JV mindset. There's more nuance to it, but the truth is those 3 big blocks, if you can get your head and heart wrapped around it, add a 0 to your bottom line in terms of your business. Meaning, if you're making $10,000, you can make $100,000. If you're making $100,000, you can make $1 million. And that is not an exaggeration.
Yes, and it's so true, because I found out, or I realized that I had gone so long with so many different points in my life where I didn't have money and I was scraping to make ends meet, that when the money started coming in, I was still trying to hold on to it and I didn't want to spend anything, and I was just living, just scared. And I actually heard you speak earlier this year in Phoenix, and it changed my life. I had a total mindset shift because you told me that you can't operate out of that mindset of scarcity.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that point, I shifted my mindset to a mindset of abundance. And when I did that, instead of holding on to, I didn't go crazy and just start spending money, but I invested more in myself, and more money just kept coming to me. It was just like immediately, like money was just coming out of nowhere. And I was like, how is this even happening? But it was true that I came out of that scarcity mindset into a mindset of abundance, and it works. So
can I share a quote with you?
sure.
Because I just love what you're saying. Is that I had a dear friend and coach say to me one time, and just really landed for me. And he said it in two different ways. One of which is, you can't penny pinch your way to seven figures. And that most entrepreneurs are actually stepping over dollars to pick up pennies.
Wow.
And that resonated so powerfully. It's like, that's true. I see it everywhere. It's like, oh, I'm just going to save myself a little bit of money here. And it's like, but you just stepped over the dollar to pick up a penny. We should back that up a little bit.
You know what? And actually, you have to make more of an effort to make less. It's less of an effort to even make more, because the dollar is lighter. So bring in the dollar. Stop picking up pennies, nickels, dimes, whatever.
100% true.
Let's get the big money. So super important is, what is the single best step that someone can do to start integrating JVs into their business model?
Well, the number one, top of the list. There are so many things, but here's the very best one. And I did this one quasi accidentally, and I look back at it as one of those, linchpin pivot moments of my entire entrepreneurial career. And it is this: you must get yourself into a joint venture community. And what a joint venture community is, and by the way, I know many of you are parts of this business group and that business group, and I go to BNI early in the morning, and then I go to eWomen Network in the afternoon, and then I go to a meetup in the evening, and I'm in an entrepreneurial communities. But there is a monumental difference. It's like two sides of the Grand Canyon, to bring together a whole bunch of people who are just entrepreneurs, who are at the lowest and worst case just trying to sell one another their widget. I was going to say something harsher, but they're just trying to sell each other their stuff, versus being in a joint venture community where, instead of okay, I'm going to say something that people may not like. In most entrepreneurial communities, everyone views everyone else as prey. Right? It's
I'm being hunted.
Yes. And the big irony to it is that everybody's hunting everybody, but they all pretend that's not the case. It's like, here, can I give you 3 of my cards? It's like, no, you can't. Like, that's not why I'm here. So you have to understand that most entrepreneurial communities are some version of prey, right? It's like, I'm going to go there and I'm going to meet somebody, I'm going to sell them something. Here's why a JV community is so head and shoulders above that. Is that an entrepreneurial community that is dedicated to joint ventures is that you're not prey for one another, you are peers.
But we should pray for one another. We're not pray for one another.
Yes, AY, not EY. Exactly. But when we're peers, we're not trying to sell one another our stuff. We're not in the middle of a retail conversation. We are trying to figure out how my community might be able to serve your community, how your community might be able to serve my community. And it's a different level of conversation, that instead of trying to get one person, because of I successfully hunted at whatever my networking organization is, it moves to, I have actually created a long-term relationship with an entrepreneur who is out there also moving and shaking, that we are going to collaborate and share leads and create recurring passive income for one another for years to come. And that is the number one thing, is you have to get into a community that knows what those conversations are. And time and again, I was just speaking at a networking organization. It was like, So how many of you came here today not to listen to me, but you came here to find a client? Entire room's hand goes up. It's like, isn't that interesting? That's what the agenda is. It's like, well, oh, that's okay. But what if I sent you home with 3 people that you had long-term partnerships with that sent you clients once a month, every month for the next 3 years? Which would be more valuable? Well, that is. Well, then sit down and let's do that. Does that make sense? Like and people seem to gloss over or misunderstand the significance of that.
Yes, I was speaking with another super entrepreneur like yourself, and we were talking about wealth and the acquisition of wealth and making money in business. And a lot of people are out there and they're trying to do this gimmick and that gimmick and the whole get rich quick thing. And I said, you know what? Don't get rich quick, get rich forever. So that comes through, building relationships. And like you said, we're in for the long-term play. And I don't know, there was something else I wanted to say, but my memory is pretty short these days, so I'll just move on in the whole conversation. And it'll probably come back to me right in the middle of while you're saying something really important, and then I'll just interrupt you again. But I remember. It's getting better. There is hope. What I was going to say was I attended one of your events. It was called Mastermind to Millions Live. And in that event, one of the things that was so incredible is that you actually showed people step by step how that they can host their own masterminds. And I thought that was really, really powerful, great information to know, because a lot of people know that it's something good they can do, something they should be doing, but they don't have the step by step, hold your hand instructions of this is what I do first, this is what I do, and, taking all the guesswork out of it like you did. So thank you for that. Very powerful. And let me see.
While you're on that topic, if I could just interject for a second, here's a good little ninja strategy, which is I love masterminds for the sake of masterminds always. Like I am just a raving fan. But here's the ninja strategy: is a mastermind group that focuses on joint ventures that you as an individual hand select to match what we call upstream and downstream in our business model is a game-changing idea. And in fact, we have adapted a bit of our business model from helping entrepreneurs launch whatever mastermind they want. So we've helped people launch self-care masterminds, faith-based masterminds. Like if you can come up with a topic, we've helped people launch it. But we're actually narrowing our focus to help people start joint venture masterminds, because the leverage in that is frankly exponential to just any other topic. So frankly, we're in the midst of building local chapters of joint venture masterminds that we call local lounges all over the world, just because it just makes such a difference. So anyway, it's like if that mastermind idea that Dee was just talking about went, well, add to that a joint venture, and now it's like, it's a whole different kettle of fish.
It is exponentially powerful. It's like, speaking of snow, so like, a snowball at the top of the hill, and it's just rolling down and gaining momentum, and you have this huge thing by the time it gets finished, because it is that exponential growth. So you have 2 becomes 4, becomes 8, becomes 16, becomes 32, becomes 64. Let me see how my math skills are going, but you get the idea. So you created a powerful training that distinguishes, the upstream partners, like you said, from the downstream. Is there any more you have to say on that, or can we roll on? Or
well, let me. And you know what I didn't ask is that in this process, is it possible to even just share screens? Like if I were to actually show somebody, or is that something that's not really too handy for us?
You should be able to share your screen, right, like you do in a normal Zoom call.
Okay. And frankly, it didn't occur to me, but one of the things that sometimes this is a little bit complex. So I'm just going to pop something open, and then I can just show people really the big idea. Because here's this idea of upstream and downstream. And I do have it open here.
And I'm so glad you're doing this, because you spoke about this in the event that I saw you speaking at earlier this year. And I was like, I need that again. I need to see it again. Like,
Okay, I'm going to share my screen and you let me know if this looks proper on your end. Is that working? Oh, I guess got to press the last button here, share.
It says that you have started screen sharing, but I don't. Oh, what? Here we go.
You can see?
Yes, before,
Awesome.
After you, all that. Okay.
Okay, so just here's, here it is in a nutshell, and I'll do it super, super fast. or not, if it's not that clear. But what we do at JVology, so we have a global community called the Global Lounge. We do live events called JVology Live. We have a digital training program called the Joint Venture Success System, and a whole bunch of other things. But here it is in its simplest form, my friends, is that all of the training leads to this fundamental process. And this fundamental process is really designing our business model in such a way that we go and strategically target and build relationships with the people, organizations, structures, educational institutions, coaches, consultants, software developers that either create the problem that we solve or they diagnose/reveal the problem that we solve. And here's the truth of it, is that those people are in the business of making our ideal clients. And while we're having this conversation, quite literally, depending upon your niche, there are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people this morning all over the world waking up and saying, it's almost the end of the year and my business could be more profitable. I just, woke up this morning and discovered that we are, as a family, pregnant, and now we have a whole new set of things to cope with, which might be I need another bedroom for the house, which would all of these things. But here's the part I want you to understand. Is if we truly genuinely get our client's journey, and that's what this gray blue line is here, and the dot is where they intersect with you. If we truly genuinely understand that there are people out there creating our clients, then we simply go to them, build a relationship with them and say, hey, would you be willing to, once you're done with your folks, say, darn well that they have this next problem, which might be, let's say, a mastermind group, which might be getting complementary leads if they were an entrepreneurial organization. Would you send them to us? And when and if they buy something, we will send you, the green line here represents money. So what transpires is, it is not a competition. We are not after the same clients. We are saying, in the journey of the client, quite naturally, you point out this problem that I solve. You can count on me to solve it for your client. You're going to take better care of your client and you'll make more money. Those are our upstream partners.
Okay.
And then there's us, right? And we do whatever it is that we do. But here's the thing, you have to recognize that you also cause problems. And those problems you want to solve with your downstream partner. So I had a gentleman in Phoenix a couple of days ago who say, well, I do physical transformations for people. I have no idea who would be downstream. It's like, well, this could be just as simple as a personal stylist. If somebody has to empty their closet because they lost 30 pounds, they need help with what that next step and stage is. Or perhaps you help them with the physical piece, but now they've got to do the managing of their life and staying consistent with it, which is, of course, the biggest issue in the universe. So who is the mindset coach, or who is the person that actually helps them manage and re-navigate the relationships that they have created with themselves and the other people in their families?
And some people use style coaches too, because
Exactly.
they have a whole new look. And so they get their makeover, and the possibilities are endless, right?
Absolutely. I was saying, because I'm a Canadian, I have a hockey tooth that, that is dead and has been dead since I've been 9. But it's like, if somebody cared about that, cosmetic dentistry would be something that would transpire. There's so many. And he was like, oh, yeah, because people come to me all the time and say, look, this is what I did. It's like, you could be the one who actually recommends that, and you could make money, because if you refer the client and they buy something, that organization will send you money. So this is what the before and after is. And if you begin to think about, and this is what the shift is, it's, I'm not thinking about me and my widget and who I'm going to sell my widget to. I'm really thinking about, who is my client? What are they up to? How do they come to me? And what do they need after? And you shift from being what I call a service provider, which is that's somebody selling their widget, to a trusted advisor. That shifts the relationship utterly and completely with your clients.
And that even rhymes. You go from Well, it kind of rhymes. But
Service
yeah,
provider, trusted
that's
advisor. Yeah,
true.
it could work.
Mhm.
We could do a rap.
Mhm.
Well, somebody
So
could. I could.
yes. Don't start rapping, Jay. Please don't do it on this particular call. But I was at
I spilled my coffee a little there.
Don't spit on the screen, like keep the camera clear. So I was at an event recently and something happened what they were doing, like hot seat sessions. And the person that was up there, the person that was actually conducting the hot seat interviews actually knew that I had something that could help their client. So like right in the middle of it, she's like, oh, there's somebody here that can help you with that. And it was like, a joint venture kind of, out of the box kind of thing happening. And just by her pointing me out, then everybody that needed that in her client base actually started coming up to me at the event saying, oh, you do this, you do that, let's talk. So it was great, and that helped me.
Awesome. So may I make a quick point of that? So
Yes.
that is an unbelievably powerful process. By the way, this whole idea of being in joint venture communities is like when we're looking for a joint venture community and that kind of thing happens, it's like that's that's choir of angels singing. Like that is some of the best thing in the universe. Exactly. and you don't want me to sing that either. Anyway, on a serious note though, please folks, this is a mistake that people make far too often when you're sort of new to the game, is that if you expect to get a financial reward for a recommendation like that, that has to be negotiated before the event and the mention, not after. I've had people come and say, so I did this, that, and the next thing. It's like, great, how are you going to pay me? It's like, well, I'm not. So joint venture relationships and joint venture partnerships happen when you sign up as a partner at my site, when we agree about how you're going to promote us and what you will be paid, and then you go and you do that, and then we pay for the results. It does not work in hindsight and retrospect. That is one of the best ways to ruin a relationship under the sun.
Write the vision and make it plain. But so and that's absolutely true, but it's not only that's good business, it's smart business, and it's proper business etiquette. So we have, let me see, I'm just checking on our time here. We have, about 9 minutes, about 10 minutes, but we want to give ourselves a few minutes so that we can actually talk about the free gifts. But I do have a couple more questions. What would you say to people? I have questions, you have answers, right?
Well,
so
I'll make shit up. If I don't, I will.
I am like such a gullible person. Like somebody could tell me like somebody's standing outside on the sun and I'll be like, really? I'll go out there and look. So like I'm that person. But what I'd like to know is, what would you say to people who believe that they are not quite ready to joint venture?
Perfect. In almost every circumstance, and I've been doing this, I'll call it semi-casually for 30 years, and I've been doing this like focused professionally for, let's call it 8 or 9. When people say that, it almost entirely always means this, which is I'm going to use your example. My book isn't quite finished yet. My digital program isn't done yet. I haven't got my affiliate tracking thing set up. And by the way, Mary, I saw your question and I will make sure that we answer it before we're done here. It's some version of they're not ready to have their product, service, or experience joint ventured. And honest to goods, my friends, honest to goodness, that is bass-ackwards. That is not true. It is the wrong grounding. That's a Saskatchewan saying.
I've never seen anybody say, well, you made it backwards.
Yes.
To the way that we say it in the States. So I'm like, my brain, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, there's lots of oddities about me, but that's one of them. So here's the thing, is that people have it reversed. It is not, you are not ready to JV when your product or service is done. You are ready to JV when you get this one. And there's a series of beliefs that my communities all live by. One of which is a joint venture is a game of I'll go first. A joint venture is a game of I'll go first. And because people do not come from a space of abundance, going back to our JV mindset, Most people come to it with this attitude of a joint venture is a game of you'll mail for me.
Mm.
And that simply does not work. So here's the truth of it, is that the most important aspect of joint venturing is building the relationship with the person, not the product. So I see this happen all the time. People are and honest to goodness, you know, if you see, and I've just declared this in terms of my own judgmentalness and all those things, I'll just be very clear about this, but I'm willing to bet anyone who works in a coaching or consulting arena has a pet peeve about people misunderstanding what you do. Here's my pet peeve about people misunderstanding what I do, is that people still believe that they should go hide in their basement, finish their digital program, their workshop, their book, their PDF, their download, and all. They're going to go hide in the basement and get all that stuff done. And they go and they actually do the work, which is beautiful. Some people just go hide in the basement, right? They actually do the work, and 9 months later, they come up to the rest of the world. It's like, ta-da, here's my thing. It's awesome. You're going to love it. And the whole world says, screw off. I don't know who you are. I don't care what your product is. It makes no difference. You and it are irrelevant to me. And then they're all like, their feelings are hurt. And it's like, you did it in the wrong order. What you do is you build the relationships. You get somebody to care. You go first. You serve and support their product, service, experience. You show up at their event. You show up on their summit. You contribute to them. And then when you go, ta-da, I'm done, they say, cool, how can I help? And over and over and over again, people say, I'll be ready in 3 months and I'm going to join the Global Lounge then. And I'm going to say, guess what? In 3 months, the hundreds of people in the Global Lounge who are looking for JV partners and looking for JV opportunities are going to say this to you: who cares?
Right.
So show up now, build the relationship, and when it's done, everyone will care.
All we really have is right now. I'm a firm believer in that. Don't wait till tomorrow. And we're just about out of time. So I know that Mary had a question. I'm going to, give you about 30 seconds to answer it super quick. And then we're going to wrap it up and share the free gift with everybody.
So Mary, your question about how to track JVs is that, and Slack is fine for project management, those sort of things. But when it comes to JVs, you really need a piece of software that has what we call a transparent backend. It generates the affiliate links, it tracks the links, and it lets you set up the program of how much something gets paid for what program. You use it on tracking on your end. Your JV partner can use it to jump in and say, it's like, oh, that email went really well, or oh, there's X dollars owing, or oh, whatever the case may be. Probably one of the easiest entry-level pieces for that is something called ClickFunnels. There's a multitude of others. I am platform agnostic. I use Infusionsoft because our process is a little more complex than most. But you've got to find a piece of software that has affiliate links, transparent backend, and runs from the opt-in all the way through to the payment process. I hope that helps.
I use Infusionsoft also, and I love being able to do that because when people invite me to speak, on their summits or podcasts or whatever, and I have something, I can create a link specifically for them. Yep. And they can log in and see everything, how many people clicked on it. And it just tracks everything and makes it real easy. But I'm going to go ahead. By the way, thank you so much for being with us today. You shared in this short amount of time so much powerful information. And I just love you more than I already did. I didn't even know that was possible, but it's true. And yay, Jay Fiset. So I'm going to actually drop this free gift into the chat. Your free gift for everyone who has attended is the Marginal Success Trap online course, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to drop this in the chat box. So
you want me to tell them a little bit about it while you're dropping that in there?
Yes.
Okay. So here's where most people who are in their business for a couple of years are, which is the business is working well enough that you couldn't possibly leave it. Meaning that I've got clients, I've got income, I've got receivables, I've got all those sorts of things. But the business isn't working well enough to get you the lifestyle and the freedom that you started your business for originally. And it's called the Marginal Success Trap. And this little mini course, it won't take you long. Maybe the entire thing will take you 30 minutes, 45 minutes doing all of the activities. Will, number one, share the model of what that looks like, outline exactly where you are, and give you the action steps to actually break free from that spot. Here's a little hint. most likely using joint ventures strategically. Uh, but honest to goodness, this content is so powerful. Remember I said strategic partnerships as use embedded content. I've been approached by, goodness, it's got to be 10 or 12 different organizations to embed this content in their programs because it puts a powerful contextual frame on it. And I've only said yes to 3 or 4, but it's really good and you should do it, full stop.
Yes, so make sure I did put it in the chat, access the chat, click on the link and make sure you take advantage of this free gift. We just want you to know that we really appreciate you being here with us, and we don't want this to be the end of our relationship. So we want to see you again, do more things with you. We also have a VIP gift that is not going to go into the chat because it's for VIPs. And to me, everyone is a VIP, but let me just explain what that means in regards to this event. It means that you can upgrade to a paid ticket, which means that you can get recordings of all of the talks today. And when you become a VIP on the highest level, we are going to give you a special VIP gift, which from Jay is a free, FR free 99 ticket to JVology Live. So make sure you go upgrade to VIP so that you can get the VIP gift. Again, Jay, thank you for being here. We're going to segue into the next talk, so make sure that you tune in for the next talk, which is going to be Jane M. Powers. And I think you know Jane, right, Jay?
I think you should actually leave me on the line here so I can hassle Jane when she comes online, because I think I owe her a couple of, let's just call it a couple of ribbings.
I can send you the login link for her talk. We'll just let you hijack her talk. That would be so awesome.
You send me the link. I'm going to refill my coffee, and then I will come and I will prowl Jane. She will both love and hate it.
You know, and I noticed how she's always following you around, and so I thought it was just hilarious that she even followed you on telesummits. Like she's the next top. But Jane Power, Jane Empower, she is going to join us. And she is going to talk about Let's Talk Impact. Oh, what?
Notice even the picture is of my stage, Mastermind to Money, in the background.
Awesome. Turn your message to money from any platform. Thank you so much for joining us again today. We have 7 more talks. We're going to break for lunch at 12, but our next talk is coming up at 9. So in about 16 minutes. So we'll see you there. Tell somebody about the summit who doesn't know about it, and they can still get in and log in. It is free to be able to attend these summits. So Jay, you know, stay warm. I'll enjoy the sunshine for you. And I'll see you soon.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for having me, Dee. Have a fantastic day.
Right. Thank you.